Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, Scorpio Mama. I understand. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, everyone. Um, hello, hello, hello. Let me. Happy birthday, Derek! I just had to say it before you come in for a quick second. Happy birthday. Everyone say happy birthday to my brother, Derek White. Happy birthday. Thank you for stopping in, by the way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to say hello to everyone. Lisa J. Stocks, my bestie. Thank you. Miss Alice, blessed child of God. Thank you for being here, dear. Thank you. Kevin Corpening, salute Joe Delaney, everybody in the chat as well as mods, love and respect. Thank you so much for being here. Shay, Miss Shay, thank you for being here. Happy Thursday, Joe, mods and chat. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Who else? Miss Scorpio Mama, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the like. I understand. You've had a hard day. I understand. Did I get everyone? Jezinchi, 35. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Vaughn, thank you for being here, dear. Look at Miss Brilliance, blessing. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciated it. I really do. Thank you, Derek, again. Happy birthday. Did I give everyone? Miss Just J, good evening, beautiful Joe, mods and chat. Please respect the host by liking on your way in. Thank you, dear. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Miss Scorpio Mama, thank you. I appreciate it. Honestly. Truly appreciate you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm trying not to be nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. Every single live. I don't know. But welcome in, everyone. I'm really grateful you're here. I truly am. So, this is a little series that I had put together. If this is the first one that you've seen, I do want to go over. I've been talking or putting together. I had put together this series called Transparent Talks, and I just want to be transparent and honest, and just give a little bit about me, right? And if you haven't seen any of my other lives, I've had 3 other lives in the last 3 weeks. And if you haven't seen them, they are in a playlist for Transparent Talks on my channel. And my first live is where my journey began. My second live was Faith Over Fear. And my third was What's Stopping You. And if you haven't seen them, I do suggest, or I invite you to go and watch them. They are in a playlist, and you can find them on my channel easy with Transparent Talks. So I invite you to go and watch them. They're not too long, and they just give a little bit about my journey and a little bit of background on me. Okay, so tonight I am talking about transformation. And some of y'all might understand or might not, but you really probably don't know all about my transformation. And the reason I have a transformation is because I was once upon a time 525 pounds. Okay. That was my top recorded weight. Okay. And so I have lost over 350 pounds. And I say over because I have lost more now. So it truly is a transformation, but it's not just about weight loss. I say it all the time. It hasn't been just about weight loss for me. But before all of that, I always want to start with a scripture that has really spoken to me. Um, this scripture, my bestie pinned it to the top of the chat, and I want to go ahead and read that. Okay, so I want to start out with that, with this verse tonight. It's 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, and the new is here. And so, with this scripture, it really speaks to me, and it really um, speaks to what I'm going to talk about tonight, because transformation isn't, for me, it isn't just about what we see on the outside. It's about becoming new in every way: mind, body, and spirit. And my journey has been a long one. It has been 20 years now that I've been on my journey. So it's nothing that has happened overnight. It's nothing, no change is overnight. Okay. And it has been full of challenges and breakthroughs, but each step has reminded me that I am truly a new creation in Christ. And that has been my strong foundation to get me through each step of the way. And I'm here to share this. And I say it all the time. I want to share it because it took me a long time to get to the point where I decided that I needed to go ahead and get grounded and start making changes in my life for different reasons that you will catch on my previous lives. But either way, there's definitely been a transformation. There's been ways that have gotten me through each step of the transformation. But the transformation, even when I was fearful of it at the beginning, right? Because of the things that I was going to go through, I'm so glad today that I didn't let it keep me from going through the transformation or taking that next step, because it's one step at a time. Hey, Real Odds and Evens, thank you for being here, sir. I really, truly appreciate you being here or stopping by. I truly appreciate it. Kicking it with the Rooks. Thank you, Shanti. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. And so, as I was saying, no matter what you go through, no matter, there's always, this was mentioned in a live earlier, but no matter what you go through and what struggle you make it through, there's going to be another one later. There's going to be another one later. That's what life is about. And I'm speaking on my experience as an elder, as an elder statesman. And I can say that, and I proudly state it, because I have family members that didn't make it to the age that I'm at. And so I truly, proudly state that what I've been through and where I've gotten to, I've come through with some wisdom, and it's given me some wisdom, and that's why I'm here. I want to share this because I don't want everybody to wait until they're 30 to start making changes in their life. I was in my early 30s when I started trying to make a change in my life. I was in my early 30s and I weighed 525 pounds, y'all. Like that, it makes no sense. And I don't want other people to get to that point before they start making a change. It's not only about weight loss. Any change that you need to make in your life, don't wait until until you get older. Because I promise, now that I'm in my 50s, it's harder, it's harder that I've gotten to this point, right? And it's harder for me to keep making that change, but nothing's letting me down. Nothing's keeping me down, right? But I'm just stating that's why I'm here. That's why I want to share. Okay. So I just get so carried away, and I just feel like I want to share something, y'all. And this is something that my bestie kind of has touched on all week with me. But I literally pray for God to guide me in what I need to say. So if something, I never want anybody to feel that what I'm saying is to anyone personally. I want you to know that whatever I'm saying, if it's for you because it's guided out of my mouth to share my journey. And that's the God's honest truth. Okay. It's not to anyone in particular. I'm just sharing my truth. Okay. Life with Tasharia, Frugal Mama. Thank you for being here, dear. I truly appreciate it. I really do. Um, but with that said, I just want you to know that I share because I truly, truly want to help someone else. I really do. I don't want people to get to a point where there's no coming back. You have at each point in your life, if you get a monkey wrench thrown and you just take it as it's take it as it is a sign for you to make some changes. Okay? And whatever changes you need to make them. Okay? Because as long as we have breath, we got to keep going. Okay? And that's something that I literally use that every single morning when I hit the gym, and I'm in the gym right now, y'all will understand why later, but right now I'm just doing some cardio. I'm just keeping my joints moving and mobile right now. So it's nothing strenuous at all, but as long as I have breath, I'm going to keep going. Okay? So with that said, I wanted to talk about my transformation. Okay? It's been a long one, and it's probably not what you guys are thinking. But my transformation has not just been about weight loss. Yes, I lost over 350 pounds. It hasn't been easy. It's taken me for that. I've pretty much maintained in the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, I lost my weight and I've been maintaining. Okay. I had been maintaining, but throughout the time, there's been some transformations that I've made. Okay. There's been some changes that I had to make because of so much weight loss. And it goes back to the fear that I had, which was in my second live that I did, Faith Over Fear. Up front, when I wanted to lose the weight and the reasons that I wanted to lose the weight, I feared, and I remember telling my dad, but I'm going to lose so much weight that I'm going to have all this loose skin and I'm not going to be able to have, to get rid of it. Right. And I think I shared this in my live. My dad told me at the time, Mija, don't worry about it. This is what he said to me. He said, Mija, don't worry about it. You're going to have the surgeries. You're going to be able to get the surgeries. And he alluded to when he died, he was going to leave me money to get my surgeries. That's what he alluded to at the time. Your dad's telling you that and you're like, Dad, don't talk like that. You know what I mean? Like, which it didn't happen, by the way. And my dad's, he's been gone, rest in peace, for 2 years now, and it didn't happen. Okay. But wait, go ahead and highlight what Real said. I didn't catch it real quick. What keeps you going and sticking with your new journey and not falling back into it? What fire motivates you? Honestly, it's a mental thing for me. I have to mentally keep it, and it's staying in my word. And I know, it's no monkey wrench or anything personal, but someone today mentioned that they were in a bad mood today, and they allowed what was going on to throw them off track. And they realized it was because they didn't read their word in the morning like they normally do. That is something that I have to remember to do, because you will notice if you get off track of the things that you normally do, something's going to be thrown your way, and it's going to get your mind off track. And that is, the reason I started this is because I wanted to have a child. Okay, I'm going to give y'all a little bit of my second life, but I wanted to have a child. So what keeps me going is being that example and breaking those cycles that I didn't have growing up. And I want to continue to do that for my child. If I brought him into this earth, I want to keep training up that child the best way that I can. And it's not only for him, it's not only for my children that I have been blessed to now have and to raise up, but it's about breaking cycles for me. And that's why I say, as long as I have breath, I have to keep going, because I've seen the different. I've seen the opposite. I saw my father become non-mobile, right? Because he stopped moving. And he told me he was my biggest cheerleader, and he was at a point where he could no longer move. And I would tell him, Dad, you still got breath, you can still go. And he would tell me, no, mija, it's too late for me, but you got to keep going. And he was my biggest cheerleader, and that was the toughest thing to go through. So I would try to make his life as good or as easy as I could while he was here, right? But seeing what he went through, I don't want to go through that. And I could easily, because I have the same, things in my health, osteoarthritis, things like that. So if you stop moving, you're going to stiffen up and you're not going to be able to anymore. And that's about weight. That's about weight loss. But in the weight loss, I had to heal from the inside, right? That's where it began for me. I realized I had to heal from the inside. So all those things were where my faith came in. And I have to stay in my word. I have to. That's why I'm starting these out with what helps me on a daily basis. Just putting that whole armor, because we got to stay protected, because it's going to come against us. And yes, a mindset thing, the good word to stabilize it. And that's the only thing we have to use it. We have to, because it's so easy to get off track. And maybe not everyone believes like I believe. Whatever you believe in, use it. Use it. Use your affirmations. Use whatever is going to help you. And I'm just here to share what helps me. Okay. So along the way, losing all that weight, I want today to talk about my transformation and my skin removal. So yes, I have had skin removal, something that I never thought I was going to be able to have. And I want to share that tonight. I've had 3 rounds of skin removal, and I've had my final skin removal, and it has been it's been surreal. And that's where I want to go ahead and invite everyone to a little bit more in depth of what I actually have gone through. Okay? Because some people don't even know that I used to be 500 plus pounds, that they see me when they see me, and they don't know that I just, how long ago now? It's only been 10 weeks that I had my 3rd round, and I'm still literally, that's why I can't do a lot of strenuous workouts right now, because I am still in recovery. But I'm here, and I want to let you all in. So I've had my first round of skin removal after losing, I was 300 pounds at the time, literally, yes. But because I was previously 525, right? I had lost 225 pounds. And at that point, I was 300 pounds. I was, I had a child. This is things that you'll hear in my previous lives. I had a child in 2008. And for 2 years after my C-section, I had a really bad hernia that I had gotten, and it all was because of the way my skin was. I was losing weight, and I had, after my baby and those 2 years, I lost another, because I had gotten up to 400 pounds after having the baby. I had gone back up in my weight, so I lost 100 pounds, and I was just, after having the baby, I don't know how to explain, but I was just carrying so much weight from the skin on my stomach. It hung so much that um, it was causing me really bad pain, really bad. I had a really bad hernia that was 4 inches long. It was so bad, y'all. I don't know if you know about a hernia, but where I had the hernia was, it was along the C-section area next to it. And it was so bad that my child is now 2 years old, and he would press his stomach, because that's what I had to do to keep the insides of my stomach from coming out through that 4 inch tear in my tummy. Okay. It got really bad. I wouldn't take care of it. Okay. But it it just, I can't even explain. I wish I could visually share what I looked like at that time, but I do have in my intro, I have pictures of where I was really big, and I had my stomach area so big that, yes, it was a lot. My brother Derek was there. I was in a lot of pain, and I remember my baby. He was 2 years old, and he would walk around pressing his stomach in like this, y'all. If y'all can see, he would press his stomach in, because that's what I always had to do because of that tear in my stomach. So I finally went to the doctor, and they immediately took me in for hernia surgery. And so while they were in there, they went ahead and told me, we need to go ahead. I was 300 pounds, but they told me we need to go ahead and do the penectolectomy. It was a tummy tuck. I had a full stomach skin removal, and it was a 180. So it was like not all the way around my stomach and all the way around my back. It wasn't that. It was just to the sides of me, but it was all the front area, because, guys, and I'm probably sharing things that you can't even imagine because you haven't been that heavy, right? But my stomach, I had no lap. My stomach hung so far down my thighs that I had no lap. So it was hard to carry my baby on top of the stomach. I mean, you can imagine, if you can imagine, I was going through a lot. So that was the reason that they went ahead and did that surgery, even though I was still 300 pounds. Okay. It's just a person by person basis, because I don't know that other people would have that done at that, in that. It was just what I was going through. Um, but it was a tummy tuck. It was a full skin removal from my stomach. This was my official first round. I will mention, and I want to mention this, because my stomach hung so much, and it was a deemed with my insurance and with the doctor, and the doctor prepared the paperwork for the insurance. It was paid by my insurance, okay, because it was medically necessary. First of all, because of the hernia, right? And second of all, because of the how much it hung and how much medically I needed it. Okay. Hey, sis, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. Disrupt and Discuss podcast. Um, so I wanted to mention that because a lot of times women think that, oh, it won't be paid by insurance, depending on how much you have, how much medically necessary you need it. um, to if how much it hangs. There's a lot of different reasons, and I promise, I hope this is not trigger. There's trigger warnings here if anyone is offended by anything that I say, but I'm just speaking my truth, and this is my truth, okay? And this is not. I'm not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not. This is just what I went through, okay? But so I had that first round of skin removal. Um, it was 15 pounds of skin. That's when they removed that skin. That's how much it was. It was 15 pounds of skin at that time. And for those medical reasons, I needed to have that done. And it was, I mean, I was literally, Derek just mentioned, I was literally in so much pain, but I didn't want to have it done right away. I had just had a child in 2008, and I wanted to care for my child as much as I was able to. And it was hard. It was hard not to be able to carry him, or, I didn't want to go under surgery again right away. So yes, I waited 2 years, but by that time, now the hernia was 4 inches long. It was very medically necessary for me to have it done. And that's the reason, even though I was 300 pounds, they did that surgery for me. That was in 2010, by the way, which was 2 years after I had my baby in 2008. So, and again, that was, I mean, of course, I did have a deductible I had to pay, okay, but it was paid by my insurance. I just want to share that, and that was the reason why they paid it, because it was so much that, and my doctor fought for me. So along the way, I continued to lose weight. After that, I continued to learn. At the time, I was learning. I was going through a learning process of working out and learning how to work out and going through different, just I got on IG, and I did originally have a trainer right before that surgery that I had a trainer. Hey, Sirius S, thank you for being here, dear. I did have a trainer, and then after my surgery, I continued the weight loss. I continued getting back in the gym after, of course, after about 6 to 8 weeks, they suggest, and I got back in the gym, started losing weight again. I went through a lot of ups and downs, and but this is about my transformation and my skin removal surgeries. So fast forward from 2010, I get to 2019. That's how long it took between that first one and the second one. I didn't think I was ever going to have. That was what the fear, that's my second live will tell you about. But I always feared not being able to do it, but I did it. 2019, I hooked up the best friend and had my second round of skin removal. I did. That was that skin removal. So the first one was 15 pounds of skin that they removed. That was after losing 225 pounds, right? When I went in 2019 for mental, if y'all want to keep up with me. So in 2019, I was 225 pounds. I had now gotten to 220. I had a lot of ups and downs, trust me, in those 9 years. I had a lot of ups and downs in my weight. It's not always been easy at all, and it won't be, okay? But in my weight loss, but also it's not always about weight loss. It's about, gaining muscle, and that is the part that is very important. But I got to 2019 and I was 224 pounds to be exact. It wasn't an even number. It wasn't an even number. So it was 224 pounds is what I was in 2019. And I had my second round of skin removal. And guys, it was a birthday present to myself, literally. Um, and I remember I was so excited. I, I made it happen. It was something that I literally wanted to do. And I did it. And I have it written down because I wanted to get the names of the actual procedures that I had done. So I had 3 procedures done on the second round. Okay. If anybody has any questions, by the way, I'm an open book. I really am. So my bestie is my executive producer today. That's SBK Media Texas. If anybody doesn't know who my bestie is, he is executive producing, and he will get any questions that you guys may have for me. And don't worry about it. I'll answer any questions that you may have. Okay. What a testimony. Congrats. I know you were too relieved to let all that extra baggage go, literally. Literally. Yes. Especially after that first one, because I'm now able to, I mean, after the healing process, right? Because guys, I'll talk about that another day, but it was not an easy surgery. And those are things that, I can talk all day about. Like those surgeries, they're not easy. Okay. I'm not here telling you, oh, it's a piece of cake and you can do it too. I mean, anybody can do whatever they want to and whatever they put their mind to do. Okay. But I'm not here to tell you anything is easy. Because even today, it's not easy. All right. But that first round, I lost, or the skin that they removed was 15 pounds, and it was all stomach. And I had a tummy tuck done. Okay. I will tell you, within between the time of 2010 and 2019, the same doctor that did it here, that did my stomach removal or stomach skin removal, he tried along the way to get my insurance because I had a lot of skin in other places. My arms, I had a lot of skin in my thighs, everywhere, right? Not just the tummy. But now I have a lot of skin still in other places. And so that doctor fought for me along the way, trying to get it paid by the insurance because it was so much, right? And he deemed it as medically necessary and everything, but they don't always take the doctors, and the doctors, the insurance deems it, the rest of the skin removal, they deemed it a cosmetic procedure. They didn't deem it as medically necessary, like the doctor was trying to, fight for me. He tried. He literally tried on my thighs. He submitted it twice, and at different times. And y'all, you got to submit pictures. You got to take pictures, and I mean all of that. It's very hard to do, to show your actual naked self just hang all over the place. And I know I'm being graphic, but it's true. I'm just sharing that, to provide it to the insurance and everything, and the insurance they didn't. He tried twice, and they didn't. They wouldn't pay for it. So it took me 9 years to be able to come to a place where I could pay for it myself. I know there's some questions you want me to go ahead and answer. I don't want to lose them. Oh, okay. They won't approve mine, but I never appealed though. And the thing was too about, what happens underneath and everything for a woman. Those are the different things that they appealed with, Well, no, my first one, they didn't have to appeal at all. They didn't immediately approve it because this was another thing for you guys to know. I was 525 pounds, and even along the way, even at my highest weight, I never had high blood pressure. I never had high cholesterol. I never had diabetes. I didn't have any of those morbid obesity illnesses. So the insurance, and this was when I had the weight loss surgery, they didn't want to pay for that. But they finally found that I had sleep apnea, and I stopped breathing, and that's what paid the first one. So when I had that, they didn't want to pay for it, but they deemed the medical necessity of, you know, how much it hung, and those were the things that was happening, because it hung so much. Those were the reasons that they paid for it. Because of course, at this point, I didn't even have sleep apnea anymore after losing 225 pounds. Um, Hey, Boss Lady T, Big Boss Lady T. Thank you so much for being here, dear. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button. Phil McIntosh, thank you for being here, sir. To anybody reading, God loves you and Jesus died for you to have life and hope and faith. John 10:10. Yes, sir. You are so right. I truly appreciate it. How long did it take you to heal? If I missed it, I was late. Which, my first round? If you mean for my first round, because I really have only talked about the first round. The first round, it was 6 to 8 weeks, was mainly, and it was just one cut. So that, as honestly, that's been, so I ended up, and I'll talk about this in a deeper, in another live, to talk about everything that I went through in that surgery. But after they got the surgery correct, because I went 3 times back, but after they got the surgery correct, it was about 6 to 8 weeks that I was out and not doing any movement, before. But honestly, I had a 2-year-old, and it was a very different time of life back then. So it really wasn't, back then, it wasn't really for me about getting back in the gym right away, you know. So, but the healing process was about 6 to 8 weeks on that surgery. After they got the surgery right, which it was only because of how much skin was removed and how much, you know, how much of a change that I had. So, but it was a good month before they got the surgery right. Let me put it that way. How are you feeling now? Well, right now I'm actually going through some healing process right now. So let me get to my second round. It was in 2019. I was talking about that. That round of surgery, skin removal surgery, it was my full upper body. Okay. And that was a total of 10 pounds of skin that they removed from my complete upper body. 10 pounds of skin. That included an extended arm lift. I had an extended arm lift done. That was done. Okay. That was done from the elbow area all the way up to on both arms. And I had an extended arm lift. But it was my full upper body, guys. So they did what extended arm lift. The other procedure they did was called a brassiere torsoplasty. So that's it's basically a cut that goes all the way around my back. Because if you've ever seen women who've lost an excess amount of weight, you've got excess skin all over. And I had a lot of excess skin on my back also. So I have a cut that goes all the way around the back, and it's basically where my bra line is. That's where it is. So where my bra is, and it goes around the back, that's all cut. And they basically cut and they took the skin and sewed it up. Okay. And that's called a brassiere torsoplasty. And then I had a breast lift done. So it's my full upper body. full upper body. Okay. And so they actually, and I want to share this. Um, so you know how I shared that they did the extended arm lift, and this was with my doctor. They did the cut all the way along this way, and so they were doing all the way around, right? So when he cut right here, guys, I had so much skin. He took my whole, he took my whole, what do you call it in English? This, I want to say it in Spanish, but I don't want to say it. My armpit. So he took my whole armpit. So I don't know if you know this, but there's certain part of the armpit. If they take all that skin, your armpits no longer. He took all the part of the skin, or all the part of the skin in the armpit that produced hair, and so I don't have any. So because and I know this is probably something that not everybody would understand, but so I don't have armpits. It was all skin that used to be my arm, and so I don't produce any kind of sweat glands. I don't produce any kind of hair that people normally would, right? And I remember when I was talking to my doctor about it, it was just, I mean, you know, when they mark you up, literally when you have any kind of cosmetic surgery, and you if you've ever seen people get marked up and stuff, yeah, there's no sweat glands. And so when I was in the markup, you know, I just happened to ask. I was like, so what if hey Lionel, thank you so much for hitting the like button. So when he was marking me up, and I just happened to ask him, right? And he's like, I can take it all if you want me to. The armpit. And I was like, so what does that mean? I was so, y'all. I was like, so what does that mean if you take it all? And he's like, you will no longer get any hair. You'll no longer get any kind of sweat glands. You know, you won't have to worry about, you know, the normal things that you worry about having armpits. And I was like, then take it all. What are you talking about? Like, my thing is, why would you even have to ask? That's the headspace I was in. What? He's like, if you want me to, I can take it all. I said, take it all. What do you mean? Oh my God, I need that surgery. Lymph nodes removed. Yes, I mean, I don't have any of that. I've had 25 surgeries in the past, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around your pain, and I want to get some work done, but I'm so afraid of the pain. Okay, let's talk about the pain. I didn't find out until the third round that I'm pretty much, the nurses told me that they think that I have a high tolerance for pain. I had no idea though. I had no idea. I don't know, right? Because I guess a person that, I mean, I didn't have a lot of history or a lot of, you know, hey, Miss Mimi, thank you for being here, dear. It's Mimi, Messy to Masterpiece. Thank you for being here. But I hadn't had a lot of surgeries. Prior to the first round of surgery, I had only had my C-section, right? I had a baby two years prior, and that was the only experience of surgery that I had had. I saw somebody, James Money 615. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hit the like button if you haven't, guys. I appreciate it. So when I had that first round of surgery that I mentioned, I had the stomach skin removal done. I really didn't have a lot of history with or experience with surgeries. And so I really didn't honestly know that I have a high tolerance of pain. But I honestly have, and so it hasn't been, for me, it hasn't been excruciating at all. Now, I can probably say that that first surgery was the hardest, as far as, because I think I was still 300 pounds at the time, you know. I was I mean, after 2 years from having a child, I'm still kind of not completely healed in all areas. And I'm still going through a lot of changes in my body. And because that was 15 pounds of skin removed, that was the biggest skin removal procedure that I had. And it took them 3 different times. I think that's the one that gave me the most, you know, um, I think I went through the most in that one. Um, the I believe. So my second round, I was mentioning, I wanted to mention. So I that was in 2019. I had 10 pounds of skin removed, and it was my full upper body. Okay. Now in 2019, I had pre-scheduled. We talked about having my third round the following year, 2020. We had talked about it. He had marked me up. He had checked me out to see, hey, can you have it done? You'll come back next year. We had pre-planned this, that the following year I would be back for my third round, which would be an extended thigh lift, because that would be my third round, my lower body. Um, so I had pre-planned that in 2019, but we all know what happened in 2020, and we didn't go. We didn't go back. Um, a lot of things happened along the way after that. After 2019, 2020 came, 2023 came. A lot of different things happened in my life. And I didn't think that I was going to be able to have my third round. I had pretty much put it on the back burner, honestly. Um, and But I'm here to share with you all that this year, June 23rd, I had my third round of skin removal done. It was a total of 9 pounds. It was an extended thigh lift. And also, wait, it was an extended thigh lift. And I also had, um, what is it called? Gluteal lift, which I have to tell y'all, there's a little joke about that. Girl, I had the penniculectomy. I always have problems with that, Mimi, which was the most painful surgery I ever had. Ooh, chill. I agree. And see, I think that's and see, I don't know when, because you mentioned the penniculectomy. Did you have the tummy tuck also, which is the muscle? See, there it's two parts. I didn't know, but when I had mine done, they did do both. They did the penniculectomy with the muscle repair. That's what it is, the muscle repair. So the muscle repair, yes, it was worse than the C-section. I agree. I agree. Um, the penniculectomy with muscle repair, that's what makes it into a tummy tuck, because the muscle repair is what they tighten up for you, and that is, I honestly suggest to get that too, in my opinion. But I was also very heavy, and mine was very loose. Let's put it that way. That muscle repair, that's why they did the muscle repair. So it's a case by case basis, you know. But no, I didn't have the tummy tuck. Okay. But like I said, girl, I was 525 pounds. So mine was so loose and it was hanging so much, y'all. It was horrible. Like I said, I had no lap. It was so, I can't even explain it's like one of those things when you get on a plane and before you couldn't put that seatbelt on and now you can put the seatbelt on, and that was the same thing for the car. It was the same thing. I could see a lap. My baby was able to sit on my lap. Y'all, it was just surreal. The difference, the changes in my life were surreal. So it was good that I had a 9 year gap, because those changes don't come overnight. I was two, so I understand what you went through. It was it was a big surreal change. Just it was something that I went through. I and I would never change it, right? I mean, everything happens for a reason. But as I mentioned, I'm in my third round of skin removal. I had the extended thigh lift, and like I mentioned, I had the gluteal lift. So we get to we're there. I'm dealing with the finance and everything, and I just happened to hand the paper, which had the basically it was the invoice that told what procedures I was having done, what procedures I was paying for. You know, I handed to my bestie. Oh, because my best friend went with me to the third round also, and I was blessed to be able to take my best friend with me again. And they would mention also that it was a blessing to have there because this third round I could have a whole live on. It was an experience, guys. It was not for the weak, not for the weak in support, and not for the weak in me going through it. It was I learned a lot about myself that I didn't know prior to this third round of surgery. But anyway, so I hand him the invoice, and he's reading because he had asked me, "Are you having a butt lift?" You know, you say butt lift, so I'm thinking I don't see butt lift here, so no, I'm not having a butt lift, right? And so then when I gave him the invoice and he reads it, he reads gluteal lift. Well, y'all, I'm not thinking the actual word for gluteal or glutes. I knew glutes was butt, okay? But when you change it to gluteal and I'm reading gluteal lift, I'm not thinking that, right? Oh, because what happens is when I submit the quote to the doctor and I tell him I want to have my lower body done, and they come back, the doctor comes back with a suggestion of what he thinks I should have done. Okay. So that's how it happened. And I saw it. I said, okay, that's what I want to do. And it's this amount of money. Okay, I got you. I'm gonna be ready. Right. And originally I had scheduled or I thought of scheduling in December, come this December. Okay. And I'm thinking because the kids are out of school, whatever, whatever. But because of what my best friend does for a living and in his career, it wouldn't have been, the holidays are not good for him, right? And so our kids are also out for the summertime. So he said, no, summertime, which is when we went in 2019, it was summertime. Same time, my birthday. It was a birthday gift. And so he said, summertime is best for me. And so I was like, well, you know what? You're right. Let me see if I can because this was January. Just in January is when I was trying to plan for my third round. And that was the reason I was like, you know what? It's January. By December, I'll be ready. This was my mental, I'm putting it off as long as I'm able to. But when he said summertime would be better, I went to the doctor. I went back to the doctor's office and I said, hey, do you have any openings for December? Because they're always booked. They're booked way out, right? So I was like, well, would you have anything? And I literally said, if not this summer, then we'll just wait till 2026 summer. My son will be graduating high school. So after his graduation, it'll be smooth sailing, right? But when they came back and says, no, we've got an opening, and their first opening was June 23rd, I knew it was a sign and I had to take it. Y'all, that was my dad's anniversary 2 years ago. The day that he went to rest in peace was June 23rd. And remember, my dad is the one that told me you're going to be able to get it done. And so when they gave me that date, I immediately knew the date. It came to mind what the day was, and I took it. And I knew my dad was there with me. I knew he was. He was. I mean, there's no doubt. No doubt. It didn't go smooth and easy, but he was there with me. He really was. I knew he was happy that I was getting it done. So this was June 23rd. I just had my third round of surgery done. As I was mentioning, my best friend tells me, "You are having a butt lift. It says gluteal lift here," and I had to literally. It took me a minute to think. Oh, why didn't I get any kind of fat transfer? Y'all, because I promise you, I wish I would have had it done now. I gotta work out, y'all, whenever I'm able to. We're gonna start working on these glutes, okay? Because there ain't no butt, there ain't no fat. They did lift the skin on my butt. I didn't realize how much excess skin I had, but when the doctor saw my pictures, he saw it. Thank God. So I had an extended thigh lift from my knee inside in my inner knees all the way up and then around the groin area, all the way around the butt. They lifted the skin. So right now, it's been since June 23rd. I believe I'm in my 10th week from skin removal. So 2 weeks ago, I was able to start at least cardio. I went back to the gym 2 weeks ago. Started just cardio, nothing strenuous. I can't actually start lifting any kind of weight until after 12 weeks. And I waited after the 8th week. So my 9th week, I started back in the gym, just doing cardio, just getting that's the reason I mentioned at the beginning that I'm not doing any kind of strenuous anything. I'm just keeping my joints moving. Hello, Michelle Lifestyle. Thank you for being here. I'm not doing anything strenuous. I'm just keeping my joints juiced, is how I put it. That's how I feel. When I get back in the gym, I just feel like I'm getting my joints juiced, and that's what I keep. I want to keep moving, want to keep, and so that's where I'm at. I've been going through some, a little bit of hoops that I've been jumping through, healing wise. And, but I'm in my 10th week, I believe. I've been in my 10th week. And it won't be till after 12 weeks that I'll be able to do lifting. But I'm giving myself, y'all, my goal mentally, my goal is 2026, hitting it hard so I can start building up my glutes and building up, my muscles and my legs. So, with that said, I have things that I learned in this third round, things that I went through in this third round that I didn't know about myself, and that those things I'm dealing with, trying to get through, because of lymphatic drainage and things like that in my legs. It was a big surgery. A lot of that was total of 9 pounds that they removed in this third round. Good evening, Thrive and Glow with Joe. Hey, Kenneth Wilkinson, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. So that was a total of 9 pounds. And it's been a total of 34 pounds in skin removal that I've had done. I consider this my final round. I do consider this my final round. I'm giving myself through the end of the year to heal. Honestly, I had to mentally tell myself, you know what? I'm going to take it easy the rest of this year so I can heal well, because I have things that I am going through in my healing process for this third round. And so I plan on starting the new year, if God forbid I'm still here, right? But that's my goal. Those are my goals. That's how I set my mind, that the new year I'm going to hit it hard and start building the different parts of my body, my arms. I want to get like my sis. It's just ETV or Disrupt and Discuss podcast. There's just certain people that it's not that I desire to be like anyone. It's just at my age, at my elder age, um, my goal is to continue to build muscle. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to wait until then to start doing it or anything. That's when I want to hit it hard. There's a difference. But I'm after my 12th week, I'm going to start hitting the gym. I'm going to start working on my muscles. And, right now, uh, here, I work from home and I don't have it nearby. But right now, I use bands on my arms all the time. So I'm not losing everything, you know, in my arms or anything like that. I continue to keep myself um, building muscle in the parts that I can, right? But as far as lifting or anything like that, I don't do in the gym from because I'm not supposed to. It could hinder the healing in other places. But with that said, I want to go ahead and bring up my executive producer if he's ready to come up. Um,
Hey y'all,
hello, hello.
what's going on, y'all? Good evening, good afternoon. Hello, 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 hello. How are y'all? How
This
y'all doing?
is my bestie. If anybody doesn't know, this is my best friend. This is my bestie. He was the one that I spoke of that I was blessed to be able to have with me on the second round in 2019 and now in my third round this year. He was with me there, and he didn't complain. Not the whole time, but so that's who I was speaking of.
So, so a total of three surgeries. I was part of two of them. Um, the second one you had was it was smooth sailing to me, but this third one, I know you said the first one for you. I wasn't around for the first one. You said the first one for you was kind of hard, but I'm thinking this third one was kind of hard. Um,
Well, yeah, health wise, it was. Yes.
I want to say this. We were discussing this show, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be. I mean, there's layers. She's already said this. There's layers to all of this. But the thing about it is that you got to understand if anybody is listening to this, whenever you are, when you lose a lot of weight, of course, that's good. Of course, that's good to lose a lot of weight. But then when you have the excess skin and you go through the process of trying to get it approved to get, you know, your skin removal. Once you're in the skin removal process and you choose the doctors that you want to work on you, um, I think that if that's something that you're wanting to do, then you got to get your mind set and your mind right before you go into the process because that's one of the things that uh, Joe and I have talked about going into the two surgeries that I've had the privilege to be along with her because I believe that if you don't have your mind right going into those types of surgeries and those types of because it's a as Mimi said, that's a total transformation. Um, that is a transformation because you're used to a certain lifestyle, and then all of a sudden, you get all of that removed, right? But in the process of you going through the surgery, like I had conversations with the doctors, the same, shout out to Dr. Galvez, you know what I mean? Um, I had conversations with the doctors, and they, while she's was having surgery and recovering, he was saying, "Hey, man, this is, she went through it, and she did good, but it's a major surgery." And he kept saying those words to me, emphasizing that this is she had major work done, especially with this last one. They can give you a estimation of how long a surgery, like for example, the last, and we'll get into, she's going to do other lives about it, but for example, the last procedure she had, they gave me an estimation of five hours, but it ended up being close to 10. You know what I mean? Close to 10 hours of surgery. And so, and it wasn't easy, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't easy. You know, she did well. You know what I mean? But in the process of after you have the surgery, you know, you have to have your mindset, and you have to kind of like be patient with the healing process. You know what I mean? You have to be patient, and you have to you know, with the amount of pain meds they give you and all of that, it messes with your psyche. You know, and I've witnessed that. You know what I mean? So if you have a loved one that's interested in doing that, and you have the privilege of trying to support, or you want someone to accompany you, you got to understand that, you know, you're going through a lot of different emotions. You're going to get discouraged in the process afterwards. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're just going to go through a lot of different stuff. So that's what I've learned on that. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys understand that. So it's been a journey for her, you know. So so that's what I have to say on that. Go ahead.
I wanted to share because hello, E is God's son. Thank you so much for being here. I'm doing really good. Thank you. And I hope you, if you didn't catch the rest of it, you can catch the beginning part of my transformation. The reason I want to share is because I went through in my second live and my third live, I mentioned the reason that it was so hard for me to even start the journey, right, was because I never thought that I would be able to be at this point. And it hasn't been overnight. It took me 9 years between the first and the second, and then another few years after that. How many? 5 years? 2019, 6 years. It took me 6 years before I had this third round that I never fathomed being able to do. And I ended up being able to do it for my birthday again. So it was a great birthday gift to myself, you know. But with that said, I don't want anything to keep you from going for whatever you want to do. I really, and you know, I mention all the time, it's not just about weight loss. And I don't want anyone to just get, you know, to lose. I don't want to lose any of you thinking that I'm just talking about weight loss. A transformation is everything. And the weight loss it's about the outside catches up with the inside. And I hope that makes sense, because the outside, and I want to point something out to you all. Because I have these surgeries done and the insurance deemed it as cosmetic, they deemed it not medically necessary. And that's why I had to pay out of pocket. Okay. And I had them done for me because I want to continue to be able to be mobile. I want to be able, because that excess skin hindered me so much that it was causing me not to continue in the journey of life, being mobile, being, you know, continuing that, staying, just showing up for my loved ones, continuing to show up for my loved ones because of the 9 extra pounds I had on the lower body. 10 extra pounds I had on the upper body, 15 extra pounds I had on my core. You know, all that excess skin was hindering me from continuing the best quality of life that I could have. It had nothing to do with vanity, Reese. It had nothing to do because I'm trying to look good for any person at all. It had to do with me continuing the quality of life that I want to have, that I need to have, so I can continue showing up for everyone else and for myself. And that's why I did it. It's very hard for me, especially this round was very hard for me to put myself out there because of so much that I've gone through in the last 6 years. It was very, very hard for me to go through this round, but I had to go ahead and do it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I want to hear from you all. I mean, is there something that's keeping you from doing whatever you need to do for your life or for where you want to go? What's keeping you? What fear do you have from, you know, like, who was it, Bessie, that mentioned about the pain, and she's had so many surgeries, and that the I'm going to mention this round is where I found out from the nurses that apparently I have a high big boss lady T. So my nurses told me this round, see, what happened is when you go through surgery, they immediately put you on a pain pump right after the surgery, and so you've got this alleviation of pain, that you, because they give you that it's a pain pump that they give you, not pills, right? It's just a pump that they immediately put on you. And so I had that put on me, and every night the nurse would come in and ask me if I needed some extra pain medicine, every single night. And I'd be like, no, I don't need anything. Mind you, I'm thinking mentally. So I think that's where my bestie was talking about, that you have to mentally be ready. Hey, sweet Rita, thank you for stopping in. I truly appreciate it. You have to mentally be ready, because me mentally, when they gave me that pain pump, I'm thinking, oh, okay, they gave me some pain medicine, I'm going to be good. Mentally, I told that to myself. So every night that they'd come in and ask me if I wanted some extra pain pills, I'd be like, no, I'm good. You know, I'd literally say, and I kept wondering, why do they keep asking me if I want more pain medicine? Like, isn't this pain medicine? You know, I'd ask the nurse. And so I finally, one night, I asked the nurse, like, isn't this pain medicine? Like, because there was other patients. And I asked, do other patients ask for extra pain medicine? And they told me, oh yeah, every single night they ask for extra pain medicine. So I think you have a high tolerance, because I would not take it. So I say that to say that's how I found out that I possibly have a high pain tolerance, first of all. But second of all, you have to mentally be ready to go through those things. So, you know, I would never encourage anything that you wouldn't mentally be ready to tackle. You know, you got to get your why. You got to get your, you know, be ready to go through whatever comes your way. Because let me tell you, Betsy can vouch. I went through some things just about 8-10 weeks ago. I went through some things that, you know, I didn't think I was going to go through. I didn't think that. I mean, you know, you just don't know what you're gonna what you're gonna tackle. So the pain is one thing that you got to get past, or the fear of the pain. You know, I want to mention that.
Okay, I have a question. Can you please explain? You've talked about this before, but can you please? You kind of touched on it, but can you please kind of like give everybody about when they're going through changes like that and they're trying to make themselves better after weight loss, and then they go and they decide, hey, bro, they decide to have those types of procedures. The question, and you brought it up before about cosmetic, or if it's just vanity, or if it's just, you know, um, or health reasons. I know you said you touched on them. You touched on the medical reasons why people don't get it approved because it's cosmetic and all that. But the main reason for you, what I mean, is that I want you to stress that again. The main reason, you want to be mobile, what I mean, and of course the verse we put up, right here, that you got as the basis of everything that you have, But can you explain that?
It's about my quality of life. It's about my quality of life. I always still had a lot of issues with the excess skin, and again, because once upon a time I was 525 pounds.
Right.
When I mentioned that to some people that didn't know me back then, y'all saw Derek in the chat, and he knew me prior. He knew me before I ever even thought of having surgery. Before I had a thought in my mind that I wanted to have a child. Before I had a thought in my mind that I wanted to lose weight, I knew Derek. So Derek has known me the whole time. I was, but throughout that change, throughout that transformation that I've gone through in my life, the more weight you lose after having been that heavy, you lose weight and you have a lot of excess skin, mind you, because also I didn't start out losing weight until I was already in my early 30s. So by this point, I'm 54 years old today. I had my surgery a few days shy of my 54th birthday. And so by this point, I've got all this excess skin that I'm carrying that's not going to go anywhere. It wasn't going anywhere. For the last 2 years, I had maintained my weight loss, hit the gym 5 days a week. And it's true. 5 days a week, I hit the gym. So my skin was not going anywhere. I wanted to make sure, and I also touched on, I saw what happened if I stopped being mobile. I have osteoarthritis in my knees, which my father had also. And after he retired, he stopped moving. And at his end, he couldn't move much. And that's true. He couldn't move much. His joints had stiffened up so much that he couldn't walk a lot. He was very heavy, and it was very, very hard on him. And I had to not only stay mobile, but I want my quality of life to be good too. And so it has nothing to do with vanity reasons. If it did, I would have gotten that fat transfer. Okay. And had them put some of the liposuction that they did out of my thighs and put it in the butt. And, that would have been vanity reasons. But it wasn't. I didn't pay extra to get all that butt back or whatever, So it had nothing to do with vanity reasons. It had to do with quality of life. Mr. F Your Feelings, BKA Cherokee. Thank you for being here, sir. I truly appreciate it.
Hey, y'all, she didn't know. That's a true story. That's a true story. She didn't know she was getting her butt lifted. I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo.
Because you had asked me. You had asked me prior, are you getting a butt lift? Not mind you, he obviously knew I had excess skin in the butt. I did not know.
That has nothing to do with it. I'm looking at everything, and I'm like, Joe, they're back there with your legs. You're doing, we discussed this years prior. You're getting the lower extremities done, right? So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, you're getting your butt done. You know what I mean? So I asked her, it's like, no, I'm not. So the doctors give me the, procedures. She give me, the doctors give me the procedures. I'm like, Joe, you're getting a butt lift. No, I'm not. You're getting a butt lift, bro. You know what I mean? What does that say right there? Gluteal.
Even after he read it to me, it didn't click.
So, yeah, man. So she got the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak, done. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I will say this. I'm glad that you're bringing the point out about vanity and cosmetic surgery and all that type of stuff, because with you, we got examples to that have been set before us. Our parents lived on this earth, and they did their best to try to teach us values, right? But at the same time, they didn't want us, and you guys can probably relate to this as well. They didn't want us. It's the same thing with my daughter. I want my daughter to be better than me, right? So our parents wanted us to have qualities of life that were better than him. I don't want to be on blood pressure medication, like my parents. Joe as well. What I mean? As far as mobility, you heard what, I had the pleasure of meeting her dad. What I mean? Great man. She's right. He always encouraged her to, hey, don't be like me. Keep moving. As long as you got breath in your body. That's a saying that he was saying. You know what I'm saying? So, when you have surgery to remove skin or whatever, what I mean? You're doing that for you. That's what it should be. You're doing that for you because you want your quality of life to be way better. You want your quality of life to be 100%. You want a total makeover, as Miss Mimi said. You want to, it's not for anybody to say, "Oh, she looks great," or you want people to have eyes on you. It's all about mobility. It's all about your quality of life. If you have children, you want to be mobile, and you want to have grandkids that you can hold. You know what I'm saying? And all those things that I've seen Joe enjoy, because she has spent a lot of blood, sweat, tears, literally, to get her body to where it should be in order for her quality of life to be what it should be. You know what I mean? And so that's what it's all about.
But I come here and share with you all because you don't have to get to where I was and wait that long. If you're going through any kind of transformation in your life, if you are going through anything that you're in the middle of that you want to change, I just want to remind you, and I want to say this: it doesn't end with weight loss. It doesn't end with surgery. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't end. The big milestone in your life, transformation, is something that you work on daily. It's something that I had to work on daily. I never thought I would be able to get to each milestone, right? But it's something that I had to keep working at. Like I mentioned, I was 2 years that I was maintaining my weight, right? I was maintaining, with the just learning how to eat better and learning. I was maintaining. It's about waking up and just being consistent and keeping that discipline in what you want to do, in that quality of life that you want to accomplish. That is what it gets to. You have to get to a point where your why is bigger than what is coming up against you. it has to, and it's about being consistent and being disciplined. And I'm talking about anything. It's not just about weight loss, right? It's anything in life. If you don't have weight to lose, but you just have to get strong, then you have to be disciplined and you have to work on it every single day. Putting your mind right that this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to set out to do. And I want to share this because I don't want anybody to get to the point where I was and not being able to come back from it. You know, and that's why I share. Hey Tim, thank you for being here, Tim. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You wanna drop the you want me to drop the link if anybody wants to.
If anyone wants to come up and has any questions for me, I'm willing to answer. I truly appreciate any of y'all, you guys being here. If anyone has any questions, honestly, I don't mind answering any question. Smack those thumbs up, people. Just show Joe some love and support. Thank you, Tim. I really appreciate it. It was good to see you this morning. I really do appreciate it. So, but yeah, I decided that if I wanted to go ahead and drop the link. If anyone wants to come up and has any questions for me, I'm an open book and I don't mind answering. Like I said, it was a blessing being able to have my bestie there with me, honestly. You know, he mentioned in a short the other day that he's hard to handle or he's rough around the edges, and he is, you know. So it's you know, he mentioned that it's tough to go with somebody, and when that person is going through so much, right? So it's even tougher when he is having to deal with the things that I'm going through, you know. So it was rough, y'all. It was rough, but it was a blessing. It was a blessing. He went with me back in 2019 for my birthday, and so what was I was turning, if I turned 54 this year, I had turned what, 49?
No.
No, 48. 48. I had turned 48 that year, and went for my birthday then. And what was great is my doctors, my nurses, they threw me a whole birthday party, you know, and it was great both times. Both times, it was great. They're great, y'all. You really have to do your research and choose the doctors that you want to use and who you are trusting in and everything. But whether it's just for cosmetic purposes or if it's for, like me, after losing so much weight, either way, make sure and do your due diligence and do your research. But
again, I want to say shout out to Dr. Galvez and that team. Joe, you didn't know this because you were under, you know, you're under the knife, so to speak. They would come down and they would say, "Hey, she's doing very well." You know what I mean? Everything is, you know, and when you know,
who's with me?
I don't know, but I'm just, you know, right after you came out of surgery, Galvez himself came down, and he was just saying, you know, she had a lot of work done, you know what I mean, and so he's like that's major surgery. That's exactly what he said. That's major surgery, and she came out all right. The communication part that I loved about them, Joe, was that they was just keeping me in on the loop, you know what I mean, and so and he was like, she just has a road ahead of her, you know what I mean, but so far, you know, look at you now, you know, so they had,
yeah. And it was that first night, I ended up, I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot that I went through. Um, I have stories. We have stories. The soul session. Ms. Wanda, thank you for being here. I truly
Hey, Miss
appreciate it.
Wanda. But
If anyone wants to get the link,
the link is pinned, y'all. Y'all can come up. You know what I mean? Y'all can come
if
up.
you want to ask me anything, I mean, honestly.
You want to ask anything in the chat? But I will say this. Again, anybody. I know, Miss Wanda. I hope you don't mind me saying this. I know you said you had Miss Wanda. I tune into all of y'all. You know what I mean? While I'm working, I know Miss Wanda was saying that she had breast reduction. You know what I mean? They're always talking about weight loss and health and wellness and so forth and so on. And I'm just glad that you are able to tell your story. But the story doesn't end there. You know what I mean? So
It doesn't.
I've told Joe behind the scenes that she can literally do a live about this last go around. She can do a live about. She can do several lives about aspects of the journey. You know what I mean? So, and I've witnessed that. You know what I mean? I've learned a lot around the way. So,
It's only been 10 weeks. I was so excited, but nervous at the same time. And I'm still healing. I'm doing really good. There's a little bit of things that I'm still going through. And like I mentioned, I've been hitting the gym again. Just getting some lymphatic drainage, help and stuff in my legs. And that's what the doctor still tells me to this day. Expect the things that you're going through. Expect it. 3 to 6 months along the way is not. It's not ironic or anything. You had a major surgery done. There were things that I found out about myself in this last round that I went through, that I was going through and I didn't know about. So all those things I'm still getting used to. And I've got another 2 weeks before I'm able to do any kind of weightlifting. But that is the goal. Eva Kika, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Greetings, everyone. Thank you, Eve. Thank you for stopping in. But
what I wanted to mention was, and I'm saying this online too, the thing that I think Joe struggles with is if y'all have not followed Joe and her YouTube page or her Instagram page, before she had the surgery, even it doesn't even matter if she had surgery or not. She goes to the gym and she's consistent with her workouts, right? And so she gives it all she has, every day. 5 to, sometimes I've seen her go 6 days a week, but at least 5 days a week. So when the doctors tell you that you're going to have to lay off the gym for a little bit, and let all that stuff heal or whatever, well, that means mentally, that's like mentally for her, and I'm putting myself in her shoes as well. When you dedicate your life to working on yourself, and you're going to the gym, and that's one of those things, those routines where it's like cutting off an arm or a leg. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So you have to basically reel yourself in and give yourself mentally, you got to mentally prepare for that as well, because you got to be patient, because that's a process. You can't rush into things. So that's what she's going through as well. You know what I mean? I've had to tell her, hey, if you're going to the gym, you don't need to be doing this. You need to, light impact. Those are my words I keep telling her. Light impact, because your body is still healing. That was major surgery, major, transformation that you got. So the the thing that keeps coming into your mind is like, hey, I need to get back to the gym. I got to get back to the gym before. No, you gotta give yourself time to, you know, to heal. You gotta give yourself time to catch up. You know what I mean? I know, looking at her, when you're going through surgery, all that anesthesia that they put in you, right? You got anesthesia, you got all those pain meds, right? You got all those different medications. All that stuff after surgery has an effect on you, ladies and gentlemen. It really does. So, of course, you got, and I'm trigger warning. I'm glad I got the trigger warning. You got tubes coming out of you and so forth and so on, right? Drainage going on, right? You know, you can't. You're not the same. You know, you got to give yourself time to heal. And so I've had to, even though she knows all of that, right? I've had to remind her, look, you have major surgery going on, right? You got to take it one day at a time. You know, you can't rush into things. You know, time will allow yourself to get to where you need to be, but in the process, in between, you got to save yourself from yourself. If you know what I'm saying, if you know what I mean, right? Because our ego, our pride, our us being impatient, you know, all of that comes into play because you're trying to rush the healing process, right? But you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You have to let everything take its course. It's healing process going on there. So
That honestly has been the hardest part for me along the way. But because I've gotten to a place where I believe and I've told myself um this is my final round. I I'm that's why I said I've told myself mentally this is my final round, so I'm going to give myself till the end of the year. I'm going to give myself time to heal, time to adjust and hit it hard come next year. You know, I mean, that literally is what I planned, right? I'm going to hit it hard come next year. And because my son is graduating next summer, so I want to look good for him. No. You just have to say, when I get nervous and I get too emotional, I have to throw out something to make myself laugh because it's just I just have to. But yes, Miss Wanda.
Yeah, I want give her some synopsis. She says, "I came in late. If you don't mind, I'm looking at y'all statements, y'all. I'm allowing her not to forget it. I got it all pinned. So we're going. If you got questions, that I got you. But she says, I came in late. If you don't mind, can you tell me what you did? What did you have done? If you shared it previously. So go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Synopsis.
So I'm going to give you a rundown. Basically, I have had 3 rounds of skin removal after losing 350 plus pounds. Well, hold on. My first round I mentioned was in 2010. I was 300 pounds at the time, and I had 15 pounds of skin removed from my stomach. I had a tummy tuck done. If you are able to and hear the details and everything, what I was going through at the time, but that was in 2010. And I had a full round of skin removal. It was a penniculectomy with muscle repair. And that was in 2010. Then in 2019, I went for my second round of skin removal, and that's when my bestie went with me. I had my upper body worked on, gardening and cooking with Shalini. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. And thank you, Miss, was it Blessed Life? I don't know. I saw something come up on my phone. Blessed Life Journey. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. But so Miss Wanda, on my second round of surgery, I had an extended arm lift. I had a brassiere torsoplasty, and I had a breast lift. I had those three surgeries done. So that was basically my full upper body. Full upper body. Okay. Full upper body I had done. Wisdom sparks motivation. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bella's Whisper Farmstead. I think I just got a raid from Blessed Life Journey. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yes, blessed raid. I got a raid from Blessed Life Journey. That's what I was coming up on my phone. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming in. Thank you, Blessed Life Journey. I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you. See, I had my raid option open. Never gotten one before, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Um, so my second round, Miss Wanda, sorry, that was in 2019, and I got an extended arm lift. I got a brassiere torsoplasty and a breast lift on that second round in 2019. And just this year, in 2025, in June, I had an extended thigh lift and gluteal lift. So that is a butt lift, okay? I didn't know. And it was a little it was funny, guys. It was hilarious. I didn't know. I had no idea I was having it done. If I would have known, no. That's why, y'all, that's why I didn't know. That's why God left it to me not knowing, because I promise I would have probably gotten some fat transfer because I would have had to pay for that extra. Okay. Nick Weber, thank you for being here. Did I miss anybody saying Bella's Whisper Farmstead? Kristen, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Blessed Life Journey. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you for being here. Mashiano, thank you for being here. Blessed Life Journey Raid. Thanks, guys, so much. I really appreciate you guys. Um, Gardening and Cooking by Shalini. I said her right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Nick Weber. I appreciate. Hit the like button, y'all. Thank you. And subscribe. I promise you won't. I had some other lives where I talk about my journey and my changes, and I really appreciate you guys. I truly appreciate you. Um, but yes, Miss Wanda, if you caught all that, so just 10 weeks ago, I had my third round of skin removal. Yes, ma'am. So I'm still healing. I'm still going through the process. I haven't been released to actually lift weights yet, but I have been released to return to the gym, and I'm just doing cardio. I'm just kind of keeping my joints, moving and juiced. Kindly remember to give thumbs up as you come in, share, subscribe, and leave a respectful comment. Yes, so much. Thank you so much, Mashiano. I really appreciate you. Exotic Cookbook. I got to check your cookbook out. Thank you. Hit that time. If you leave me a comment, I will, all of you, leave me a comment and I will come back and check out your channels. Okay? Please. If y'all want to leave a comment even after this live, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bliss. I really appreciate you. Lionel, do I have to leave respectful comments? Yes, you do, Lionel. Just like you leave me respectful comments every morning. Yes, sir. I'm going to tell on you. Because you really are respectful somewhere in there. Yes, you do, Lionel. But anyway, so Miss Wanda, I hope you caught all that. I had 3 rounds of skin removal done. And I'm currently in my 3rd healing process right now. And Bestie went with me on my 3rd round too. And as he mentioned, it was tough for him, but it was good. And we've talked about it. We have talked about it on a serious level. I was really thankful, and I've been thankful every day that he was able to be there. Joe, I was serious when I told you that you are an inspiration. I appreciate you sharing your journey. And that just made me emotional. I don't know why, but just reading it. But I share honestly, and I mentioned earlier, I share it because I want to help. someone else. I really do. Um, I wouldn't want to see anyone else go through this long, drawn out journey that I've had to go through, which I wouldn't change for the world. I don't regret anything I've gone through. I don't regret anything that I've, experienced. I truly, wholeheartedly believe that every struggle that I go through and that I make it through has made me stronger. Um, the doctor had suggested on three. My doctor had suggested on three. 3 rounds? Is that what you mean? Yes, thank you so much. All of y'all, thank you so much. Blessed, I really, truly appreciate it. I'm so honored that I got a raid. I'm so honored. I feel great because it worked, you know. I don't think I've ever gotten a raid, so that's great. But I think my doctor had suggested on 3 rounds. I think that's what you're talking about, Miss Wanda. I'm not sure. But I share because like I mentioned, I believe in the struggle. Not that it's easy going through the struggle, guys. That's not what I mean. It's not easy going through the struggle. But where I'm at in my life, I know I'm not alone. And I have to, I think it was Real that asked me earlier, how do you get through, And I have to stay in my word. I have to stay in the word of God to help me through every single struggle that I go through because it's not easy. My doctor had suggested on 3 occasions that I have gastric bypass, but I refused. I had to do it on my own. It is definitely not easy. So I love hearing different stories. It's not easy. And Miss Wanda, I mentioned earlier that I don't think you were here, but before you go through any kind of transformation or any kind of change that is going to be a major change for you, and Bestie mentioned it too, you have to be mentally ready to go through it. So if you're not mentally ready to give your commitment, your discipline, your consistency, if you're not ready to do that and to go through it, then do it a different way that you will be mentally able and willing to go through. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to go through what they suggest, then go through it a different way. Because I'm here to tell you, I have friends who have done it without going through that surgery. I have friends that were in their 400 pounds and they have gotten to a point where they have lost and they're still going through it. It takes long, it's a long process. And as long as you're working towards it, especially for your health, and you continuously, consistently stay at it, you're not going to see, even in my case, you're not going to see the changes overnight. No matter what you're trying to get through, what you're trying to accomplish, the change doesn't happen overnight. So don't let it discourage you. Don't let it discourage you. You keep at it. Consistency and discipline. You don't have to do what they suggest you do. It is possible to do it without. And I honestly would not suggest it if you're not willing to go through it and give your all to it. Because like even Bestie said, you have to mentally be ready and willing to go through it. Honestly, it's not someone else's story and it's not someone else's journey, it's yours. And you have to, whatever you go through, you have to be willing to go through it. Wisdom sparks motivation. Thank you. I appreciate that. Great encouragement, Joe. I mean, and honestly, whatever you're going to go through, there was another question, wasn't there, Bestie, after Miss Wanda? Or Blessed Life Journey? Did she say something? Joe says, I can't think of one of your live streams that I never shed a tear. Thanks for being so inspirational. I hope you're shedding a tear because you're happy. Because I don't want you I don't want anyone to ever feel sorry for what I've been through, because I wouldn't change it for the world. I believe everything that I've gone through it so I can share it and help someone else. I wholeheartedly believe that. It doesn't matter what I've been through either, because I've not only been through weight loss, right? But everything in life, my I wholeheartedly believe that every struggle or everything, every experience I've gone through so I could share it with someone else and I can help that person if they've gone through something similar, or if you can relate. I want to just help possibly make a difference. Okay? I honestly said that. So, with that said, I just thank you so much. I don't want to cry. What a blessing you both have each other in this journey. And my bestie, he I don't know which way to pose. I'm sure consistency is key. It is, Nick. Consistency, it builds discipline, and you just have to stay at it one day at a time, one step at a time. And it's that next step. See, and I've said this in previous messages that I've had, you're not always going to get the whole roadmap. You don't know the map. You don't know the map of your life that you're going to go through. That map is not going to be there for you. But the only way you still have to take that step. That's the only way to get through that map. To follow the map. You're going to have to take that step. Even if you're afraid to, take the step anyway. And that way you can get through the next one. And you continue to take the next step. It's not easy, but just keep taking that step. Your story is beautiful, Joe. Very inspirational, very real. Definitely makes me, and I'm sure everyone listening, feel like they can invest in themselves and win. Your story matters and is needed. Thank you so much, a billion. I really appreciate that. I really do. I truly do. Thanks for sharing and doing so transparent. It hits different. And before I get on, every time I'm so nervous, but hugs, Joe, you are so strong. Thank you. I don't feel strong every day. Sissy, I'm back. Playful Green Soccer 45. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Mashiano, thank you so much. I don't always feel strong, but I was saying earlier, every single thing that I've made it through, every time that I've been able to make it through another tough time in my life, I truly feel like it just makes me stronger. And it makes me stronger. And somebody was saying earlier in a live that I was listening to, it doesn't mean that life is going to be easy once you make it through that next struggle or that next tough time that you get through. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. There's going to be another struggle ahead. Guys, just put it in your mind. There's going to be another struggle, but you're going to be stronger when you get to that struggle because you made it through the last one. And I hope that resonates with you, because it's a mental thing. It's mental. Put it in your mind. You're going to go through something else, but I'm going to be stronger when I get there. You are definitely an inspiration. Keep doing the Lord's work. Thank you. Thank you, Alice. I truly appreciate it. Watch Queen Cooking. Welcome back. Thank you so much. Step by Step is the title of my pastor's current series. It is. And that's such a wow moment for me, Miss Wanda. It truly is, because I mentioned at the beginning of this, I pray every single time before I get on a live that I be guided by what I say, that he guide I don't have like a script or anything. I just have points that I want to talk about. And I just ask that, I just say what I need to say and what I'm being led to say, so that that confirms for me that I'm on the right track, as long as I keep taking one step forward. So with that said, if nobody wants to come up, we dropped the link. If anybody wanted to come up to ask me any questions, you're helping so many people, including me. I'm glad. I really truly, and if you ever have any questions for me, I truly am an open book. I said what I said. Hey, thank you for being here, dear. I truly appreciate it. Um, like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it here today, but my dad, once upon a time, prior to him resting in peace, my dad told me one day, "You need to write a book, Joe." My dad used to love, see, I started all this journey, I started on Instagram, and I would post a post on Instagram and I would write a long caption. That was my journaling of sorts. And that's how I started. And it was like me holding myself accountable. And so he would love reading them. He loved reading my captions. He would love reading my stories, and he related to it because he saw me growing up and going through, my journey. And he loved, him and my mom, they would read it to each other. And my dad he's like, "Joe, you need to write a book." And so I kind of see my YouTube as kind of my open book. I'm sharing my journey here because we're not always about, times have evolved and it's not always an open book, but you can always, when I'm no longer gone, they're going to be able to come back and see my lives and read or listen about my journey. So that's how I see it.
I will say this. I want to add in something with that. You've always said, I always talked about your dad looking at your lives, your mom and your dad, your family looking at your lives and being inspired. But she is, ladies and gentlemen, she's always preached to me and always said the reasoning for her, whether it's Facebook, whether it's IG, and now her being on YouTube, she has said, Joe, Thriving Global Joe, she's always said that this is her ministry. She says that this is part of her ministry. A lot of people think that the ministry is just behind the pulpit, being an evangelist, being a pastor. Your ministry could be anything that draws you closer to your creator. You know what I mean? And this is her. She has a story, right? She has a testimony, right? But it's her higher power that is the driving force, right? So this is her ministry. A lot of people, a lot of people say in jest, how many times we've heard people say, "I'm doing the Lord's work, I'm doing the Lord's work." In reality, they're really trolling, right? But in this case right here, Joe is truly doing the Lord's work because this is her ministry. This is literally her ministry, and she is a person that wants to help, loves to help. When she says she's an open book, she really is. She loves to inspire. So this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. So great turnout, JoJo.
I truly appreciate you all. I really do. And with that, I want to read again. I've been starting out my lives with a verse that spoke to me and spoke for the message that I wanted to have in my life. And so I want to read that. I think it's still pinned at the top possibly. But I want to read it again for you all because this was the verse that I chose for tonight. And that's 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. And it really, honestly, it speaks to me because that transformation, and I mentioned this at the beginning and I'm going to mention it again, that transformation, it isn't just about what we see on the outside. It's not. It's never just about what we see on the outside. It's about becoming new in every single way, in your mind, your body, and your spirit. And my journey, it's been a long one. It's been a really long journey. but it's been full of challenges and breakthroughs. And that's why I'm here trying to share that with you. But every single step is I'm reminded that I am truly a new creation in Christ. And that's why I want to share it. I want to continue trying to share that with you. And when I get these confirmations from you all telling me that it inspires you, or it makes you want to, even if you can't relate in my weight loss, there's always a journey, a transformation that you go through in life. And that's what I want to point out. Exactly. We have to take our testimonies and share them. They're to be shared. It is not just behind the pulpit. You are correct, SBK. Yes. And it's true. Y'all, there's a lot about SBK I don't know, but he was behind a pulpit early on in life. Y'all wouldn't even believe it, but that's for another story. Thank you so much. That was my church's theme. Wow, really? See? Wow. So I appreciate you all. I truly appreciate it. So if no one wants to come up.
So I guess nobody wants to come up, maybe for another time, but do you want to play your
Oh yes, I want to share with you all. I have a commercial promotion that I created. I've only had it played in Tap In or I don't know, another channel. We played it, but I've never played it on my channel, and I want to share it with you all. Okay, it's only 50 seconds long, but I want to play my little commercial that I created. So. I love it. I wanted to play that. I had mentioned to Bestie, don't let me forget. I want to play it. But I hope you like that. I hope you all liked it. It really shows you a lot of different pictures of me along the way of my journey when I was 500 plus pounds, y'all. And along the way, even to some just recently. So I hope y'all like that. I really appreciate it. Nice, Joe. Absolutely love it. Thank you. I wanted to play it because I had never played it on my channel. So I had said, I want to play it. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you all being here. I truly appreciate it. Don't forget to share, to like, to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And to even just comment, give me a little comment, drop a little comment if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you don't like something, if you like it, give me a comment, y'all. It'll be great. Great promo. It's still unbelievable that was you. That was me. Yes. And my brother was in here early. First me back then. Yes, ma'am. That was me. Mm-hmm. But that's why I had to have all that skin removed. That was me. But anyway, thank you so much for being here, everyone. I really, truly appreciate it. I can't believe I've been on here this long. But I do want to just mention anything that you go through in life, just always know that that next step is all you got to get through. Just get through that next step and then take the next and take the next. And it's about consistency and dedication, literally. But with that said, keep pushing through with me. We are stronger together. Trust and believe.